So, welcome back to the Freemilesmc, and we are today going to have a look at Mount Olympus here in Greece. It is incredibly hot still. Like my night, I didn't have an AC in the room, so I literally felt like a toddler in a car. It is in fact so hot that I don't just wear no motorcycle pants at the moment, but had to skip on the long pants in general. Yeah, because it felt like a general health risk to wear them, honestly. Not because it's more comfortable, actually because yesterday it was so on the line that I was a bit worried about collapsing or anything from the heat, as I already quite long ago, when no one was watching the channel, had that exact thing happen to me, that I dropped the motorcycle on my way to Morocco because of that. Yeah, we're going to make our way to Mount Olympus today, and I'm very curious about the beautiful Greek sights. Even though I know it's wrong, it feels so good to have some air around my legs and around my arms. So, before we go to Mount Olympus, we definitely have to go to a gas station. So we're currently driving up Mount Olympus, and Mount Olympus has been a quite central spot in Greek mythology, as basically the top of it was where basically all the gods were chilling. And if I'm not mistaken, like at the top of Mount Olympus was supposed to be that there's Zeus' throne there. The top of the mountain that we're currently going up was basically the center of the multi-theistic religion that they had in Greece. Well, it wasn't just really a religion. It was also kind of similarly to how we have the Kardashians today. They weren't just like a religion, it was also similarly a bit to the Kardashians today. They would regularly make up stories about them. I mean, it's already a religion, but like more made up stories similarly to how you would have Boulevard Press today. And when I was in high school, I was forced to translate Latin texts literally all the time, and there was often also reference to Greek mythology, and some people even had to learn Old Greek. Luckily, I managed to get my way around that one. But in that regard, those two cultures were quite similar, that they basically used to make up the latest news about their gods, basically. And they would make up like these constant drama stories, like, I don't know, gods cheating on their wives with humans and then creating half-gods. And most of the time, some god also transformed into some animal to hide their identity. Similarly to the story of the girl called Europe, who got seduced by a god who transformed himself into a bull. With Old Greek and with Latin, it was always the talk in school that we need to learn that shit because it's the most valuable stuff we can ever learn, and that we don't need to learn any other language like English, French, Spanish, which would be stuff that was like actually useful. It was always these languages, because it got always said that these languages will have such a huge advantage when going into science, law, or medicine, which I feel like is the biggest amount of bullshit I've ever heard. as a lot of those medical terms are the same than in Romanian languages as they would be in Latin. So if you would have just learned Spanish, you would have been pretty fine. Also to understand the medical and biological terms that are derived from Latin and Greek. Most of the time you have word structure, and then you have different endings to the words meaning different kind of things. Similarly to how you have different numbers and letter combinations in chemistry. And like learning all this kind of grammar, all this I think Latin had 7 different fälle, which is I think causes basically, similarly to I don't know what they exactly I don't know the exact word for it in English, but like the stuff like accusative, subjunctive, that kind of stuff. Like those languages had like 7 of those things, which is also the texts were always incredibly far away from like anything that people would be able to grasp their mind around, you know. I mean, like, how is Bello Gallico supposed to help you with your future medicine studies? And I mean, acknowledging that this stuff exists and teaching a bit about it would be fine, but making it the complete focus and forgetting everything else is kind of not that nice. And I have a special bone to pick with Latin and Greece, because as we were taught in school dead versions of Latin and Greek, I mean, Latin just has dead versions basically. I was forced to learn these languages because it was supposed to discipline me into becoming a better student in a way, and then got excluded from all other languages, which was pretty shit, which meant that I had to learn all actually useful languages on my own in my free time. And yeah, it is something that I will never stop giving the school system grief for, basically. The landscape here is incredibly beautiful. Wow. A bit of gravel road. Oh, there are a lot of people here and a lot of vans. So the rest of the way up we have to hike. And honestly, in this weather, let's forget about that, because I'm literally not doing that in this weather. Oh, another Yamaha FZ06. They seem quite common here. Nice that we made a review about that. So, ouch, for fuck's sake. I just burnt my leg on the engine, but it's better than dying of a heat stroke. So we currently don't have internet here. Let's pick our next goal in a minute. Let's pick our next goal, but we don't have internet, so let's first get back to the internet and then set up the next waypoint. So we have internet again. So where are we going next? The next closest thing is actually Metora and the Pindus Mountains. And on the Pindus Mountains you have very beautiful Greek old architecture. And in Metora you have a monastery on like a very steep mountain. So let's have a look at these. What a beautiful forest. Sadly we didn't get to go closer to the top of Mount Olympus because I didn't want to do like a super long hike, but we will have a look at some architecture. But gotta be honest, being close to these Greek monuments gives me major school flashbacks, because like it was insane. Like the culture around these languages in my home country is insane. Like you have teachers who teach these languages like Latin, Old Greek and Latin, and those teachers literally change the German grammar and the normal way they speak to be more closer to. Oh, what a beautiful look! Like that is insane. It's so gorgeous. Like they changed their German grammar to be more closer to Latin and Old Greek, and it's fucking annoying. It's like the people who say instead of yes or ja, so sei es. Like, to the people that are watching who are still in uni and in school, if your professor walks in and says so sei es instead of yes, good fucking luck, because those are the insufferable ones. And Like, we had situations with, like, where we then had religion class, and some people already got rid of Latin and didn't have to learn it anymore, and then the teacher was like, yeah, everyone of culture has to speak Latin, so we're going to hold the class in Latin. And then everyone who didn't speak Latin, well, I guess they failed. And I was never good at Latin, and at some point I managed to get my act together, and I still didn't get my Latinum, even though my grades ended up matching up, because I was not worthy. I, for pedagogic reasons, failed my Latinum. It's fucking insane. So the little bit of resentment towards this kind of stuff is a bit there. Also, all the lost time and lost opportunity to learn a language that actually serves some kind of purpose. Yeah, at least I was able to make my way around Old Greek mostly and around Old Hebrew, otherwise I would have lost my shit in school. Whoa, what a beautiful sea, and how you can just look forever. Wow. And then randomly, where the pollution is too bad to see, just randomly ends, which looks really funny. Wow, what a beautiful look we're having here from Mount Olympus. The approach to teaching Old Greek and Latin is really messed up in the school system. Like, I suffer from a light case of dyslexia, which got made into an incredibly big problem in school because acceptance and like tolerance was basically going towards zero, and it was all about making life harder and all about excluding and all that kind of stuff. And Latin was used as a tool for that. It was always like, oh, you have to learn Latin so that you are forced to learn how to properly write, because it's a dead language that you cannot speak. But then on the other hand was like, you can never get a good grade in that language, because even if you're good, theoretically you could never write it. So it was always a lose-lose situation, which always led to a failed grade, no matter what you did. It was just not really fun to learn. My classes in those languages got to the degree that when I was performing well and was able to translate texts and was able to solve vocab texts, that it was an automatic fail, because I was not failing. It was assumed that I must have cheated. And I think no one really has fun learning these languages. It's a real challenge, not from the actual learning side of it, but from the culture surrounding these languages. And wow, it is tremendously annoying. Like, if you have an interest in Latin and Old Greek, learn it in your free time. Really, on an educational level, if you're still going to uni, try to avoid anything regarding these issues as far as possible. Yeah, it's a culture filled with elite thinking, and yeah. So we made it to Meteora, and this is it. You see those enormous rocks right here? And as you can see, on some of these rocks there are little houses that are built on top of them. In general, this kind of mountain formation is unbelievable. Wow. Wow, also with those little caves and the stone. So beautiful. Unbelievable, really. It's crazy to see. It kind of reminds me of like if you go to a Vietnamese restaurant and you have these pictures of the very steep mountains in Vietnam. That's kind of how it looks like, in smaller and out of rock. very impressive. I'm wondering like how, when it comes to like seismic activity and stuff, how stuff like this happens. So here we have a good look at one of the houses. Very nice. So I will get on my way and find a place to stay. With the heat, I'm completely done. Yeah, let's get going. So I now booked a place to stay for the night, and I hope that they have climate control because this is very taxing here in Greece. If you yourself plan to go to Greece, really avoid the summer because it is an absolute challenge. Like, I today had to drive in short pants. It would have been impossible to drive in anything else. And as a result, I managed to burn my leg right next to the knee. But at least some cold airflow a bit. I mean, Greece has some very beautiful sights that can definitely be enjoyed. You just need a little bit less heat for it. Wow, what a beautiful view. Really often when it comes to like really nice mountains, the view back down is more beautiful than the way up. What a sight here. It's quite crazy to see. Wow. It's unbelievably beautiful here. Ooh, a beautiful Yamaha Tracer 9. Hopefully I get to review that bike at some point as well, as a lot of you guys asked for it under one of the last videos. So I now finally arrived here, and big drum roll, my room has climate control. I'm going to use the ever-living fuck out of that one in a minute, because the last 2 days with this weather have been really tough. So happy. Yeah, this will be awesome. Like, I'm going to use that thing so much. And my room is quite nice. I have a big bed, which I really like, and the place has breakfast in the morning included, and the breakfast includes like a Greek yogurt with honey, omelette, coffee of your choice, fruit, butter, marmalade, a sandwich, a piece of pie, and an orange juice box, and all that for $6. It's pretty awesome.